Hi guys, welcome. Thanks for joining me. So today we have a 60-minute flow to open through the hips and the heart. And then after, I'll give you a chance to send in any questions that you might have about the practice, about your own practice. So you can go ahead and send in those questions through YouTube or Facebook, and then I'll address them at the end. So just go ahead and get comfortable on the ground or on a mat. It doesn't matter what shape you're in. And just scan the space that you're in and see if you need to move anything at all. Maybe turn off your alarms on your phone or the notifications, turn it off onto Do Not Disturb. Shut a door, maybe light a candle. Give you a few moments of silence just to settle into your space. And then once you feel like you can get comfortable, and start to notice the breath. Notice the movements that it makes within the body. See if you can make those movements a little bit more dramatic. And deepening the inhale. And controlling the length of the exhale, drawing it out. Next, inhale, expand the belly completely. Hold the air in at the top. Open the mouth and release the air. So as you sit here, maybe you start to notice any areas of the body that stand out to you. Where is there tension, tightness? And then notice how you're arriving on the mat today. What are you bringing with you? What thoughts are muddling around in your mind? Where is your attention? Take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. Maybe start to ask yourself how you're feeling. Give yourself a moment just to be really honest and allow yourself to sit with whatever feeling you identified. Rather than allowing right and wrong to exist on your mat, can you simply choose to see whatever it is, honestly and clearly? Full breath in. Open the mouth to release. On an inhale, you'll stretch the arms up overhead and coming onto your back. Take you a moment, we'll give you a moment, just to get comfortable. The legs will extend and the arms will also reach up overhead. And then on an inhale, start to grow through the sides of the body. Point or flex the feet. And lift the arms up and think about getting longer through the sides of the torso, the fingers. Another breath in. As you breathe out, relax the shoulders, relax the arms and the feet. Inhale to pick everything back up and stretch again. And this time, maybe interlacing the hands. Taking the hands over to the left side of the mat. Keep the shoulders grounded. Start to take a few breaths into the right side of the body. If you want to go deeper, cross the right ankle over top of the left without moving the hips or the glutes. So yesterday was the Gemini new moon, the first phase of the lunar cycle, symbolizing a new beginning, fresh start. Last breath here. And breathe out to stay. Draw everything back into the center of the mat. And then over to the other side when you're ready. Starting with the arms, keeping the shoulders glued to the mat, and then adding in the legs if you'd like. And last breath here. All the way through center. And draw the knees in towards the chest, wrap the arms around the legs. Give yourself a squeeze and then just pause. Find your breath. So the new moon can be a great time to start to reflect on what we hold space for, not only in our minds, but our life in general, our hearts. Noticing what you hold space for and maybe what you would like to relinquish or to let go of. Where does your attention drift off to that it maybe doesn't necessarily need to? Is there anything in your life that you can identify that you would like to let go of? And in today's practice, I'll ask you to let that be your intention. On your inhale, you can think about taking in anything you need. And on your exhale, let whatever you identified go. And one more full breath into the belly. And breathe out to release. Take your hands behind your knees. Start to use your feet to find a gentle rocking up and down the spine. If you have worked with boat pose before, you can go ahead and rock up into a boat pose. Knees can be bent or straight. If you'd like, just land the feet on the mat, knees are bent. Scoot your bottom into the mat and have a little bit of foundation and groundedness through that first, through your seat. Sit up really tall through your shoulders and then try to pick the feet up and away and find your balance there. Now you have a few options with the hands. They can stay on the backs of the knees. You can reach down to the top edge of the mat. And wherever you are, the feet are active. We're squeezing the legs together. Breathe into the belly. Let's start to build some fire. Breathe out to hold. And shut down the eyes. Start to steady your focus. Give into the discomfort. And last breath. As you breathe out, let the feet drop. Tuck your head between your knees. The arms wrap around the legs and just take a breath. From here, we're coming into a child's pose. So onto your knees. big toes to touch. Arms and head come down to the mat. Take a breath in through your nose and a really long breath out of your mouth. So just note that anything I offer today is simply a suggestion. And stay in child's pose for a few more breaths. And while I'll take you through a series of movements, know that your body is the boss. So anything that it's telling you to back away from or to not do, listen to yourself instead of me. And then make choices that are right for you. So whenever you need to come back to a rest, this pose is a great option. And last breath before we move. On an inhale, you'll push through the hands, lift the elbows away from the mat, and grip down through your fingertips. And lift the forehead, and breathe in, pull yourself forward into tabletop. Shoulders over top of wrists. And then tuck the toes under, push the knees away from the mat. Take a moment and just pause there. Push the ground away and imagine the space between your shoulder blades getting bigger. And as slowly as you can, send your hips up to the sky, downward facing dog. Knees can be bent. Rather than moving right away in the shape, take a few breaths in stillness. Modify if you need, coming onto fists, if the wrists are sore. Take a really deep breath in. As you exhale, push the hands into the mat and send the hips just a bit higher. Another full body breath all the way into the bottom of the stomach. As you exhale, let the neck relax. Inhale as high as you can onto the toes. And then as slowly as you can, bring the shoulders over top of the wrists for a plank pose. Drop the bum lower than you think it needs to be. And zip the legs up together. Take a full breath. On your breath out, just drop the hips down towards the mat, bending into the elbows, flipping your feet, coming into a cobra. So this can be a low baby cobra, or you can use the arms to lift the shoulders higher. Take 3 breaths here, expanding through the stomach, tuning into that little bit of effort that it takes to get the body moving, maybe first thing in the morning. Drop the shoulders back down to the mat. And push your way up and back into a child's pose. And do something to reset your breath, whether it be letting a breath out of the mouth or just lengthening it out. And get active through the hands. And push your way up into tabletop. Toes tuck under, knees lift away, downward facing dog again. And this time it's the right leg that will lift. Bend into the knee. Send the knee up towards the sky. And really, really slowly start to draw the knee towards the nose. Push the ground away. And then can you land that foot to the top edge of the mat? Inhale to lift the heart away from the legs. Look forward, stretch up. And rock forward on those back toes. Take another full breath here. You can take blocks underneath your hands if you have them. And just make sure your front ankle is underneath your front knee. And force yourself to take 2 more breaths. And then on an inhale, step your left foot forward to the top edge of the mat. Inhale, lift the heart, halfway lift, look forward. Exhale to stay. Breathe in again. As you breathe out, bend into your knees and look between your legs, forward fold. Stay for 3 breaths. And try to send the breath into the low back. As you exhale, let the breath go down the spine all the way to the crown of the head. And breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, hands go back down to the mat. And take the hands underneath the shoulders. Step the left foot back first, plank, and then meet it with the right. Bodies in one line. Drop the knees down if you'd like. Otherwise, bend at the elbows and lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Take the arms wide this time for a wide grip cobra. Elbows over top of wrists. Inhale, push to the tops of the feet, lift the heart, maybe look up. You have 3 rounds of this, exhaling to lower. After you've finished your third, take your hands back underneath your shoulders. Push your weight up and back into a resting shape. Knees can come to touch this time in Balasana if you'd like. Notice where your mind immediately goes as soon as you still the body. And does it align with where you would like it to go? And take a full breath in. Exhale out of the mouth. At your own time, find your way back into downward facing dog. And on an inhale, you can lift the left leg high. Engage through that left leg and square off the hips. So just see if the left is in line with the right. Balance the weight between your hands, and then on an inhale, you can open the knee up towards the sky, bending into the left knee, relaxing through the foot, firmly pressing down through your right leg. And on an inhale, draw the knee out towards the side and then up towards the nose. Just like you're in a plank off the ground. And can you step that foot through the hands, bringing it underneath the knee? Staying in a lunge, hands underneath shoulders or on blocks. Inhale to lengthen through the spine, maybe. Exhale to stay. Fire up through the right glute. Take a breath into the right leg. On an inhale, you'll step all the way up to the top edge of the mat, meeting both feet. And this time, bend into your knees, sit your bum down low, chair pose, arms reach up. Hands can also pull down to heart. We'll only be here for 1 more breath, so sit the bum really low. Pull the shoulders back in space. And then push through your legs, come all the way up to stand, reach the arms up. Maybe lean back if it feels nice. And then as you exhale, fold forward. Hands towards the mat, bend into your knees. So notice if you've generated any heat at all in the body. And check in, see how you're doing. As we start to build it up, allow yourself to back away when you need to. And encourage yourself to be challenged if that's what you'd like, that's what you need. One more breath. On an inhale, you'll push your way up into mountain pose, so standing, Tadasana. Hands can rest down beside you. Palms can face forward. Retract the shoulder blades, squeezing them together. Drop the shoulders away from the ears, and then push through the feet. And breathe in, reach the arms up. And breathe out, fold all the way back down. And this time, as you do this, lift up through the right foot and send the right foot all the way back into that lunge. And this time, reach the arms up overhead, stacking the shoulders over top of the hips. Feel the stretch to the front of the right hip. Can you drop that back knee down a little bit and feel the sensation get more intense? And then what can you soften and what can you make more active here? Breathe in. Breathe out to hold. Last one, stay with it. Exhale the hands down towards the mat. Pivot the back foot so that the toes point towards the right. Warrior two, open up the arms, cartwheeling them into the shape of a T, bending into that front knee. Push down through the back of the right foot more than the toe. Last breath here. Cartwheel the arms down towards the mat. Okay, the right hand is going to stay where it is. Go high onto your back toes. Walk that left foot back about halfway down your mat. As you do this, come onto the pinky side of the back foot. So the back foot is parallel with the back of the mat, and so is the front foot. As you inhale, see if you can lift that left arm up towards the sky, coming into a modified side plank. And then on an inhale, stretch the arm up overhead, reach, get really long. Send the hips up towards the sky, and then on an exhale, lower the hips down and lower the arm as well. You can stay here working on moving this left knee around, or you can move with strength, inhaling to lengthen and lift, exhaling to lower. Wherever you are, the left foot stays really active. Last breath. And pick your hips up off the ground if they were landed. Send the left arm up towards the sky and then land it to the mat. Walk that left foot back to the center of the mat, coming onto your back toes. Breathe in, rock forward. As you exhale, can you pick up that back foot, send it towards the sky, standing split. And then we're going to bend into the right knee. And we'll draw circles with that right knee, out towards the side and then back in. Hands can come to blocks if you have them. Stay strong through the core. Micro bend into your left knee. Straighten out the legs, send it up towards the sky, knee towards nose if you'd like. Bend into both knees, step the right foot beside the left. Inhale, halfway lift to lengthen. Exhale, fold back down. Root to rise, arms reach up, Tadasana. Breathe out to fold. Hands to the mat, step or hop back into your plank. Take a rest if you need, otherwise chaturanga, rock forward. Drop the knees down. Bend at the elbows, maybe halfway or all the way. And flipping the feet. Inhaling to scoop the chest forward and through. Find your way back into a resting shape, whether that be down dog or child's pose. What can you release? And what can you invite into the body? one deep inhale to energize. Exhale to stay. And then when you're ready, push your way up into downward facing dog. Make your way to the top of the mat, coming onto the tiptoes, bending to the knees, stepping forward or taking a little hop. Inhale to lift up halfway. Exhale to fold back down, hands to the mat. And this time it's the left foot that steps back into our lunge. On a breath in, reach the arms up. Breath out to stay. Rock as high as you can onto the back toes, and then maybe take a bit of a lunge, into your back knee. Feel the extension through the left of the left hip flexor, and breathe in to lift the heart. Lower the hands to the mat. Pivot the back toes towards the left. We're opening up for warrior two. Arms cartwheeled open. Bend really deeply into your front knee. And strong hands, but soft arms. Last breath in. Lower the hands down to the mat. We're high on the back toes. Start to heel toe that right foot halfway down the mat. Toes point to the right. Right hand is underneath the right shoulder. Left hand is underneath the left shoulder. Right arm towards the sky. And then inhale, you can stretch the arm up over the head towards the top edge of the mat. Send the hips even higher. And then exhale, lower the hips, lower the right arm. Around, through the right foot, lift all the way up. Exhaling to lower. Last breath, reach the hips up towards the sky. Right arm. Lower the right hand as you start to walk the foot back to the center of the mat. High on the back toes, rock forward, inhale. Exhale, pick up the left foot. Hands to blocks if you have them, otherwise just let the fingertips support you. Active through the back leg. Full breath in. Full breath out. And then start to bend into your left knee. Draw the knee in towards the nose, almost as though you're bringing your two knees to touch. And then circle it out towards the sky. Start to mobilize through the left hip. Bend into both knees. Land the left foot beside the right. Inhale to halfway lift. Breathe out to fold back down. Bend into your knees a lot. Chair pose, arms reach up. Let your attention come back to whatever it is that you need to let go of. Focus on it, visualize it. Bring it into your mind. And take a full breath in. As you breathe out, fold the head forward, send the hips high, and let go. Inhale, back to chair, bend into your knees, drop your bum low. Arms can reach up. Exhale to fold and release. Last time. Stay in your forward fold for a full breath. And then round yourself up to stand, Tadasana. Shut down the eyes, take the hands wherever is comfortable. Let your chest stay proud and the crown of the head reaching up. Notice if you can feel the beat of your heart. Let it remind you to slow down your breath. We'll work with a little bit of a balancing sequence before we make our way down into Shavasana. So, move your feet around until you feel that the ground is solid and firm underneath you. You're gripping through your toes and then lift the toes away from the mat a few times. Start to root down through all four corners of the feet. And then on an inhale, you can sweep the arms up towards the sky. And on an exhale, lean the weight into the right foot, lift the left foot away. Draw the knee up towards the chest. Shoulders pull down and back. And on an inhale, the knee opens towards the side. You can land that foot wherever for tree pose. Alternatively, if you want to try something different, take your hands down towards that left ankle, taking the foot into the crease of the hip instead. Show you what that looks like. And then hands can do absolutely whatever they want. You can move around. And last breath. Draw the knee back up towards the nose. Don't worry if you lose your balance. Every time you do, can you smile? Restart, try again. All right, knee towards knee, left foot towards your bottom. Right arm reaches up. And pause there. See if you can go ahead and hold that left ankle and just pause. Notice how as you pull with your left arm, the sensation goes through the quadricep. Now if that's already a lot on your knee, you're gonna stop and we'll just work with that today. If you'd like to go further, start to bend into your right knee. Reach up through the right arm, breathe in. As you breathe out, lean the chest forward. Inhale to lift the heart. Halfway lift. Exhale to kick the foot back. And then keep working with those micro movements. So inhale to lift, exhale to kick. If you fall out, restart from the shape that we began in. Okay, wherever you are, bring the hands back to heart. Keep the left knee lifted for a moment. Breathe into the right leg, push the ground away, push the left leg to straight, and then as slowly as you can, land that left heel to the ground. And then the left toes. Rock the weight back and forth between the left and the right foot. Notice the difference. Circle out that right ankle a few times if you need. And then on an inhale, you'll sweep the arms up towards the sky. As you breathe out, forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale to make your way back into a plank. Knees drop down or skip the flow altogether. If you're ready, deep breath in to rock forward. Breathe out to a 90-degree angle, pause. See if you can flip your feet here. If your hips drop, don't worry. If they're still lifted, then squeeze the bum, pull the chest forward and through. Shoulders stack over top of wrists. Push through the tops of the feet, upward facing dog. If you're still with me, pike the hips high. Otherwise, just make your way into a downward facing dog. And we'll take 3 breaths in through the nose, exhaling out of the mouth. Make your way up to the top of the mat. Breathing in, halfway lift. Breathing out, hands towards the mat. Root your eyes, arms will sweep up. And this time, lean the weight into the left foot. The right knee lifts. Flex through that right foot. Pull the hands into heart center to help you with balance. Be patient with yourself. When you're ready, make your way into tree pose, or pulling that right foot, into the left hip crease. And if you tried it on one side and it worked and this side it doesn't, just let it go, back away. Be happy with where you are. As you inhale, the head lifts up just another millimeter. Shoulders relax down away from the ears as you breathe out. Knee pulls back in through center. Left arm will reach up. Right hand grabs for the right foot. And then knee to knee. Zip the legs up together. Take a bend into your left knee so it's nice and soft. On an inhale, lift the heart, look up maybe. As you exhale, kick that back foot back. Keep drawing the knee in towards. Let your breath work for you here. So heart reach. Exhale to kick the back. Push yourself and allow yourself to fall. When you've finished, you'll draw the knee back in towards the chest. And when you're ready, straighten out through that right foot. Slowly as you can, land the right foot and then the right toes. Hands can relax. Roll out that left ankle if it needs it. And then inhale, lift the arms up towards the sky. As you breathe out, bend into the arms, cactusing. Bend into your knees, sit your bum down low. Take your arms towards the low back and find an interlace through your fingers. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, look up, breathe in. Breathe out, send your seat high, head low, look between your legs. Let the arms relax. If it's too much on the shoulders, take elbows instead. Move your arms around. Bend into your knees if you need. And then when you've finished, you'll come all the way down onto your mat. And get comfortable. And start to scan the body. And I'll ask you to decide what final movement you need to take. So a good option when in doubt is always just a twist. So letting the knees drop to one side, gaze to the other. If you need a release through the back, then a shoulder stand is a great option. Bringing your hands towards your hips, lifting the feet up, and then slowly leaning the feet back. And if you're ready to just be still, let that be okay too. And each time you come to the mat, you'll start to understand your body a little bit more. You'll start to realize what the body needs, how it wants to be moved, and where energy might need to be shifted. Making these decisions for yourself will allow you to start to tune in to your intuition. What you know is right deep down. There's no rush to finish off your movement. And when you do decide that you're about ready, make sure you've balanced out the movement on one side of the body to the other. And then start to decide where you would like to come into stillness. So you can come into corpse pose, legs extended, arms relaxed. Or you can also support the body in some way, maybe with a pillow or a blanket. It can be really nice to set a pillow underneath your hips so that your pelvic floor is elevated above the heart. Let yourself fidget and move around for the first few moments. And take a really deep breath in through your nose. Fill the stomach entirely. And then exhale, let out a big sigh. And 2 more. Let your breath be heard. If you haven't already, shut down the eyes. Relax the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. And maybe just rock the head left to right a couple of times. Notice how the back of the head is supported by the mat, the ground. And still your head. And take your attention into your shoulders. Plug your shoulders into the mat. Maybe snuggle them closer together underneath you. And deep breath in, the chest lifts. As you breathe out, let the low back and the hips sink into the mat. Take your attention into your fingers, to the very tips of each of your fingers. Can you relax the hands? And then the rest of the arms. Notice how the back of your neck lifts away from the mat. Can you let that area of the body get heavy? And take a breath into your belly. And as you breathe out, relax your feet. Notice the connection of the backs of the legs with the mat. Give yourself the permission to let go of the weight of the lower body. So with each inhale, can you feel the front of the body lift up? And as you breathe out, let the back of the body get really heavy. Give yourself the permission to just rest. Allowing the body the time to process all of the work that you've just put in. Acknowledge that this is the hardest part of the practice. Ask yourself to stay. And before we start to move, allow yourself to deepen the breath. Moving the body with the breath first. And when you feel ready, take any movement that feels good. And you're welcome to stay on your back. If you'd like to come up into a seat, feel free. Welcome a really full breath of air into the body. Breathe out to let go. And thank you for your practice. Thank you for joining. This time has been really special, and I'm really happy that I get to continue to share my practice with you guys. So thank you. And happy Eid. For those of you who are fasting, congratulations. And I hope that you can stay with us and check in and hear about our FAQ that will happen. Sorry, Q&A, yoga brain, can't think now. I will be going through a series of questions that I've been asked over social media in the past few weeks about yoga, and then I'll be offering what I have to share about those topics. So I hope you can stay, and if not, then namaste. Let me just grab this laptop here. Pull this in. Okay, guys. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can throw them in. I will start with a question that I received from a friend back home who was having trouble with her calves. She was asking for any suggestions to lengthen and strengthen the backs of her legs she was having troubles with. And I would offer that the best suggestion I have is when you are in any standing shape, to really focus on engaging through the whole entirety of the leg. So starting with the glutes, squeezing through the bum, and then engaging through your quadriceps so that the kneecaps lift up a little bit. You can even focus on lifting through the toes as well. So in any standing shape, so our crescent lunge, our warrior two, chair pose even. And then the best way to lengthen or to stabilize the muscle is actually to strengthen it. So I sent her a few videos on Instagram that focus and target those areas specifically. So if you would like to have those as well, feel free to send me a message. I'm happy to share. Also really easily, you can just go and Google hamstring exercises and you'll find lots. Okay, so the next question I had, or was more of a topic, I had asked the question of what holds you back from trying or starting yoga, and I had a couple of different responses. One was money, another was time restrictions, and another is having like a space. Somebody said that they don't have the space in their house or their home to practice. And all of those answers I kind of wanted to group together and address and just kind of say that practice starts with just sitting. So take a breath, close down your eyes, and you've began. So it can really happen at any time of the day. It's a practice that can be embedded into any time, any moment, any place. It's not pulling out a mat and making some pretty shapes on a mat. It really extends into each avenue of our life. And it just starts with slowing down, being willing to tune in, reflect back to how we're feeling. And then maybe moving the body or moving with the breath to start to feel a little bit better. In relation to the money response, there's so much free content online right now. And I would also suggest just starting to have a self-practice. So that involves just sitting down, seeing how you're feeling, and asking yourself how you could move your body in a way that might feel good. So it doesn't have to be a yoga posture. It could simply be hugging your knees in towards your chest or stretching your arms up towards the sky. And then in that way, I would encourage you to just start somewhere. Okay, so somebody asked, I have terrible lower back tightness. Can I ease the tightness with yoga? Absolutely. So our low back is known as our lumbar spine. And so many people struggle with this area, especially if you sit a lot for work or if you drive a lot. The compression of the spine just builds up over time. That's why it's really important to move. Move. So the best posture, I would say, is anything with a fold. Anything with a supported fold. So bending into your knees, supporting your belly onto your legs, letting the head drape between the legs. Now this pose has 3 variations. So it's the same pose, just in 3 different ways. You can stand up, you can sit down. And then you'll also be familiar with shoulder stands or plow pose, where the legs go all the way behind you. Any of those 3 can be great, but the shapes alone will not do much. You have to incorporate breath into it. So be willing to stay, be willing to move around while you're there, bend into your knees, wiggle your toes, play around, explore, be curious about your body. And then the second shape I would offer you is a twist. So that's the easiest to do in bed first thing in the morning. You can hold it for 5 minutes on each side or before you fall asleep at night. There's so many ways to do it. You can spread the arms really wide. You'll bring the knees to touch, drop the knees over to one direction, and look in the opposite. Important things to note there is that we want the shoulders to stay grounded and force yourself to breathe into the belly. Okay, there are many different kinds of yoga. How do I find the one that's right for me? That's a great question. So when I first moved to Egypt, this was something that I really struggled with, because when I started teaching here in Guna, everyone asked me, well, what kind of yoga do you teach? And I'm trained and certified in Hatha Yoga, but there are so many different types of yoga. And everyone says, well, this type of yoga is this, and this type of yoga is this. And yes, there are different types of yoga, but I am somebody who firmly believes that any yoga is yoga. So if you are sitting with your breath, moving your body in a way that feels good to you, that is yoga. So I would just say, start with something, get curious. If it doesn't work for you, be willing to try something different. For me specifically, hot yoga was the way I entered into the practice, a really hot, fast-paced vinyasa class. Similar to what I teach, but I would say I teach a less challenging version of what I started practicing. And then over time, I moved from a really hot, fast-paced vinyasa to slower, restorative classes. And that's where I found my love for meditation and my love for breath. And that area of the practice that really transformed my life and encouraged me to continue with the practice. So if you're working with, to direct that question further, if you are, funny comment, hi Panda, how are you? Miss you lots. If you are working with any injuries, that might be joint problems or a slipped disc in the back or anything like that, I would say when you start a practice, like, don't back away from trying yoga, because oftentimes those injuries can be managed through yoga and through movement and mobility work. So it's definitely not ex-nay on that. Continue to try. Just be really patient with your body and listen to when something's not working for you or when it's causing pain. Be willing to back away and be patient. Go slowly. For those of you looking for a really slow practice, Yoga with Adriene has some amazing online classes that are yin restorative-ish. So if you need any suggestions, just send me a message. I'm happy to share. Okay, so I think that's it, guys. The last topic I wanted to cover was I have a lot of clients who don't like to refer to our time together as yoga, simply because of the negative connotation around the word. And I would ask you to challenge yourself to see the word differently. So if what's holding you back from practicing is this idea that you have to be spiritual, is this idea that you have to understand chakras or be willing to work with energy healing and sound healing and all that, know that you don't. Know that the practice is whatever you need it to be. So if you need a reason to move, if you need some motivation or anything like that, reach out to me. I would love to have a chat. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you guys. question, sorry. Okay, great question. I have been stressed lately. Do you have any recommendations if I should do a faster session or a slower session? So I will say that for everyone it will be different. Try both. See what you prefer. If you still like neither, give me a message and maybe I can have a further conversation with you. For me personally, when I started the practice, I was dealing with a lot of mental health issues. I was super stressed out, always from a really, really young age. Just an uncontrollable level of stress, and I had no idea how to manage it at all. And I played rugby, I swam competitively, I played soccer. I was busy, really, really busy, like 3 to 4 sports at a time, all the time. Our parents really pushed us to stay active, and nothing could still my mind. No matter what I was doing, I was always thinking. And then the fast-paced hot yoga classes were the first thing where I felt like I could have a breath of fresh air, where I felt like maybe it was just for 1 second of the class, but I had a moment of silence. And that, to me, was a saving grace. It was all I needed at that time, was that one moment of clarity, that one moment where I felt like, okay, I've got this. I can do this and move forward. So I totally know what that's like. If you have any further questions, please reach out. I'd love to chat. Do you recommend yoga before or after meditation? Okay, so I like to think of my yoga practice as a moving meditation. So if I don't have time to, or if I feel like I can't be still and meditate, I actually find that through the movement of asanas, of postures, I meditate. Yeah, so I guess to go into this question, I have to divulge the definition of yoga, which is union. So union, and the goal of the practice was a connection to a higher self or a spiritual self. Now that goal doesn't have to be the same for everybody. If that goal is a part of your particular journey, then I would argue for you to reach out and have a conversation with me about how yoga and meditation simultaneously go together. And you can't have one without the other. How can I focus on the practice and meditate throughout the stress? The easiest way, you have 2 tools. You can start with breath, and the second is an intention. An intention being one word that you draw your focus back to. So we're all different. Our minds, we learn differently. For me, I'm a very visual learner. So when I close my eyes, I actually don't see it. I see something. When I close my eyes, my mind isn't empty. It's not like I close my eyes and I see black. I'm always seeing something. So for me, I visualize the word that I'm working towards. So oftentimes, the word I use most is just relax or breathe. And I'll write that word out in my head, and I'll keep coming back to it. Every time I think about a bill that has to be paid, or a family member back home that I miss, or this, or a problem that I'm having at work, or something like that, bring it back. Every time I think I need to leave and go finish the laundry and hop off my mat, bring it back to the intention. So that's how you can use intentions. And then how you can use breath is just each time you notice that you're distracted, you won't notice right away, but once you do, take a breath in, take a breath out, and let the exhales anchor you back into the moment. How can you reach out to me directly? So easiest way is through Instagram, Meaglew, Meglew. I'm sure it's here in the comments. Yes, right here. If you scroll down in the comments, it says @Meaglew. And then my Facebook page is Yoga with Meagan Lewis. You can also message me there. And then from there, I can send you my WhatsApp number or whatnot. We can have a phone call. I'm also doing some online messenger classes. So if you are social distancing and at home, but would like a one-on-one consultation or a practice, we can arrange that. Okay, guys. So I think that's it. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button on the page there so that KROMA can continue to succeed and continue to do the work that we're loving them to do. So thank you, Ziad, again for all of your hard work, and everyone else who's been a part of this process. All the best. Namaste.